Hi, this is Yvonne McNary, and I'm here with Patricia Crosman, Director of the Small Business Development Center, and she's out of Elizabethtown, and she was gracious enough to come in this morning to talk to us about small businesses. Good morning.
Good morning, Yvonne. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Listen, first of all, let's start off by you telling us exactly what you do.
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm the director of the UK Small Business Development Center. Our program is designed to provide support to business, whether someone's starting a business or growing a business. We're there throughout the life of a business. We provide really three distinct services, where our consulting services, our flagship program, whereby we work with individuals one-on-one in a confidential, no-fee environment to ensure that they have the things that they need to be successful. We also offer training and education programs. In today's environment, many times that's online or through webinars and social media, things of that nature, but that training and education component is a big part of what we do as well for our community development as well as our small businesses. And lastly, we are that research and development piece. So that all dovetails with the consulting and the training to ensure that small businesses have information, the things that they need to be successful. We provide our services in our service area, which is the Lincoln Trail Area Development District, plus Taylor and Greene. So we have a 10-county service area, and our consultants will schedule a time that's convenient and work with them as well. We're a partnership program with the Small Business Administration, the federal government program. We are a management assistance and technical assistance part of the SBA. We receive 50% of our funding here in Kentucky from the SBA, and so that allows us to have the things that we need to be successful not only in our communities, but to also be able to connect our small businesses to other resources like federal government resources.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, for somebody who's starting out or thinking about starting a business, what are some of the major first steps that they should do before even deciding to go into business?
Well, that's always a big question. One of the key things, and I think that when many people are wanting to start a small business, perhaps they have a hobby or a passion that they're looking for. They may be in an industry and they recognize opportunity to actually go into business for themselves and to do those things. But any person, no matter what level of business or what they're looking at, really needs to first think through some things. And so one of those things is, why am I doing this? What is this about? Is this something where I want to give back, if it's more of a social component? It may be that you're looking to provide a second income for your family, or it may be a primary income, and you're looking at that being a business that you can grow, that's scalable. So the first step, I think, is to define that for yourself and for you and your family, because whether it is every family member's working in the business or just yourself, it's going to impact your family. Then you want to start defining those things of that business. So what's your business concept? Are you offering a product or service? Is it something that what's your distribution channel? Are you going to deliver that? In today's environment, we see a lot of people that have online businesses or e-commerce. Many times it's a combination. So are you a retail front? Are you manufacturing? So those are the things that you'll want to define. And
now, does that go along with all types of businesses? Because I know there are a lot of people here who open restaurants. So do you look at the same things going into a restaurant as you would going into a retail business? Sorts of goods and services?
Yes, and that beginning piece of just why am I doing this, I think is important. But then you move into the specifics for a particular business. A business plan is a tool and that you use sometimes for feasibility, just to see, is this the right fit for me? Secondly, your business plan can be a roadmap. And so it may be a roadmap that shows you, these are the steps and things I need to do to be successful. That business plan oftentimes is a communication tool with resource partners or stakeholders like funders. So if you're looking for, if you're going to need financing for your business, then
Okay.
you may use your business plan for that. The business plan is really defining the aspects of business management. And so you'll want to start with looking at the industry. So what industry are you involved in? You mentioned restaurants. That's a great example. With a restaurant or with a food service business, the component obviously is the food and the things that you're offering. And we're going to assume that your food's good. So,
Yes.
so that's the first key. But there's so much more involved in business. And so your business plan is going to help you define that. One of the things we do every day is work with people with that piece of their business to help them ensure that they've thought through the things that are needed. You're going to look at the marketing aspects. Marketing is key.
Yes.
And you're going to determine not only how you market your business, but how you handle things like pricing. Are you pricing based on competition? Are you pricing based on cost plus? Is it unit based? So all of those things are going to be important. And then you look at your management team. Of course, you're part of your management team, and others that are going to help you, whether internal and external. Another part of business today that is increasingly challenging, and it's a good thing that we have such a low unemployment rate here in Kentucky, but that presents a distinct challenge for businesses, whether you are a small business or a large business. So ensuring that you know what that looks like. And if you're a labor-intensive business like a restaurant, do you have mechanisms in place to attract and retain businesses, and what does that look like? So there's many different areas and things that you look for when you're starting a business. If restaurants, as our example, is what's the regulation like? With a restaurant, you are regulated and by the health department. And are you familiar with that?
Different licenses as well, as if you want to have a
Sure.
liquor license,
Mhm.
the cost of that and what it takes to get one.
Yes, and very important is the financial side of a business, and so that ties into your business plan as well. That financial piece is the ongoing, not only your startup costs, of course, what's it going to take to get started, but what's the ongoing picture, snapshot of my business. So how much money can I anticipate making in a period of time? So a month, a week, a year, and then what are my operating expenses and what does that look like? And you're going to have variable and fixed expenses, so being able to define what that looks like to ensure that you can create financials that's going to give you a good picture of cash flow and whether you can be profitable or not.
Okay. Are there different times of the year when that businesses seem to start more than others? Because I know in the summer months or warmer months, it seems like I see a lot more new restaurants, or are they just more visible then?
Interesting. That I think that has changed a little bit. We certainly in our center, we see businesses year-round starting. One of the things that we find is that the first of the year is a very active time. It's when people perhaps have looked past, they've gotten through the holidays, and they're thinking, there's something I'd like to do, and now's my time to make that plunge. We hope that we see people before they get started, if that's possible, so that we can help guide them, but that's not always the case, and so we're there to help them as they grow. So summertime, you do see seasonal businesses. For example, lawn care, landscaping, some agritourism, things that are attracted to people during seasonal months, but it's really year-round.
Year-round, huh? Now, and for someone who's already in business and things aren't going real well, should they give you a call?
Certainly. And, that's an area where we pride ourselves on being there throughout the life of a business. I've been doing this quite a while, and so I have the opportunity, really the honor, to work with businesses over the long haul. And one of the things we see is that's not necessarily a natural time or a comfortable time to ask for help. And because of the nature of what we do as consultants, we can help you determine and pinpoint what some of the areas that you need to work on. If there's a distinction with a business that's having problems. Is it a crisis situation that you need something immediate, or is it really a matter of looking at your business to ensure that you're operating correctly? It may be a marketing issue. It may be that you perhaps haven't connected with your customers in all ways possible. And so marketing and advertising is a big part of business.
You said advertising, that rings true to my rings true to me. Okay,
Sure.
for the advertising, because we really do want people to advertise more to get their businesses out there. Tell us a little about those businesses out there that you see on a regular basis that maybe you have more successes with than others. Is there one type of business that seems to be more successful? Maybe retail clothing over restaurants, or something that you've noticed a trend in?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that I've ever gotten that before. Not necessarily specific things. One of the things that we do see is that in our rural communities, we're starting to see resurgent in our downtown businesses and some things. So we're seeing a surge in boutique type businesses, businesses that are more specific to a certain demographic or target group. We're seeing restaurants. Restaurants have a high entry rate. We're always seeing new restaurants, and they have a high failure rate, frankly. So that is an industry where you're going to see a natural turn, and you do see that as well.
So that would be one of those businesses where you would really look hard and
Certainly.
deep, and make sure that you had all your ducks in a row before you got started.
The challenge in the food business typically is that you're dependent on so many external variables. So you're dependent upon your customers and reaching those customers and retaining those customers. You're dependent upon even external environments like the weather may impact whether your business is successful or not. Labor, as I've already mentioned, do you have employees, and can you maintain the level of employees that you need for the business? One of the things that's happened, and we see in the Elizabethtown area recently, is that we had some larger businesses come in that were national chains, and one in particular hired 278 employees. And so that sounds great for the community and the economy, and it is, but where did those employees come from?
Right.
Other businesses, such as small businesses. So one of the things we did is work very closely with businesses to ensure that they had the resources and tools they needed to address that.
Now, tell us again, what counties or what area do you cover?
We cover the Lincoln Trail Area Development District, which is, and I'll try my best to name them all, not get caught up. But we have Breckinridge County, Meade County, Grayson County, Hardin County, Nelson County, Washington, Marion, Taylor, and LaRue.
You got them all.
And we've got quite a few.
Yes, you do.
And we pride ourselves in our center. We are one of the leading centers in the state for activity. So and that's really thanks to our communities. A big part of what we do as well, and I failed to mention that, is we are community partners with the economic development agencies, chambers of commerce, community leaders, people like yourself, to ensure that we best are supporting the economic development, the economic vitality of communities. And our role really is just to ensure that communities have the resources they need, and we're a conduit to that as well. So if you have a question and you're interested in a particular piece of information, just to know how many restaurants do we have in this area, what's the unemployment rate, what are those things that we need, we're there to help with that.
Okay. All right, and how can you be reached?
Oh, well, certainly give us a call. Our phone number is 270-765-6737, or our website is a great way to connect with us. I mentioned that we have centers all across the state, and our website, KSBDC, which stands for Kentucky Small Business Development Center.org, is a great way to connect with us. On our website, and we're the Elizabethtown Center, we're listed on that website as the Elizabethtown Center because that's where our main office is located. You have the ability to not only email us, but you can register or request appointments, and you can learn more about our training opportunities, whether they're in our center or across the state.
Okay. And one more time, if there's somebody out there, and I know there is, who's thinking about starting a small business, what is maybe 2 things that they need to keep in mind?
2 key things is, have you identified what your expenses are going to be, not only your startup expenses, but your ongoing. The single biggest reason I see that people fail, and we want to talk about success, but to help you ensure that you're not one of those individuals, is lack of funding or undercapitalization. It's being able to have the money you need to not only open the business, but to grow and develop that business. I get a question a lot, why do businesses fail? And I can say in my 20-plus years of experience in this industry, it's really most oftentimes not that they aren't good at what they do or that they have a good product or service. It's more about many times just lack of planned growth, not looking at what it's going to take to get you to the next level. And how do you make that decision? And I think it's natural for small businesses to think, well, anytime you can grow, that's the right decision. And unfortunately, if you don't have things in play, resources, and that business plan that we talked about, then it can be difficult at times.
Okay. Again, give us that telephone number.
270-765-6737.
Okay. Well, listen, Patricia, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This has been Yvonne McNary for Central Kentucky Television.